a tradition like no other. Sammy Reid, Nate Nohling, Davis Mattek. The Gillcast reunites every year to break down the Super Bowl as only we can. Sammy's gold star IDP prop, Xavier Worthy rushing hires. We are going to get after it. Let's go. It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer. All right, guys, many years running, we have done this Super Bowl preview show. I think we actually, did we not do it last year? Or maybe we did. I think maybe
we've had to do it every year.
We did, because I think I hit the L'Jarius Sneed under solo tackles last year.
There we go. Of course we did it. So my Kansas City Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl. They are 1.5 point favorites. The total actually has come down. The total has come down a full point since it opened. It opened at 49.5. You don't see that happen all that often in a Super Bowl where the total is going to go lower. If anything, you would think that, I mean, FanDuel could post a 56.5 and people would be like, over, dude, we're betting the over. So it's kind of interesting to me.
It's in the dome. I mean, how does this game go under? I don't know.
Yeah, dude, it's Mahomes in the dome. It's Saquon Barkley in the dome. Yeah. What are your guys' general thoughts on the game? Are you like everyone else in America? You're complaining. You're calling it the stupid bowl. Where are you guys at?
It's not the stupid bowl, but it's not the Detroit Lions Buffalo Bills Super Bowl that we were promised that we deserve. So I am disappointed. But
you guys really wanted to see the Bills. The Bills.
Davis, who wouldn't want to see that? That would have been epic. You have to, even as a Chiefs fan, you have to agree that the way that they win games, the way that Mahomes, it's not entertaining But
the thing is, I would totally grant that. The team that plays fun football was the Ravens. The Ravens were the explosive runs, deep shots, tons of lateral stuff. The Bills were not playing fun football. The Bills
no, they weren't. But we deserve the Lions, bro. We deserve the Lions. We deserve the Lions. Dan Campbell.
The Lions would have been epic. Commanders would have been epic. This, honestly, it's not a fun, but I don't hate Mahomes the way that like everybody does. I do think like greatness is going to be fun to watch. Like a three-peat would be great, but it's just not fun football. Like,
well, the other thing is the Eagles are not fun.
The Eagles rank 32 out of 32 in fun. The Eagles,
Sammy, I'm surprised you're not with your boomer takes loving the Saquon thing and just wanting to see Saquon win it all. Like,
no. I would have wanted to see Jahmyr Gibbs win it all, but Saquon's over 26. Like, we don't play that.
If you think about it, these two teams are really quite different from the Super Bowl rematch from 2 years ago. So obviously Barkley is the huge addition. Who would have been the 2022 Eagles running back? Not Swift, not Barkley. Was it
Miles Sanders?
Oh my God, Miles Sanders.
There's Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell were the.
And 2022 would have been the first year Pacheco. That was when McKinnon was the secret sauce.
Yeah, and we just got done with Damian Williams, and me and you were holding a candlelight vigil for our one true king. Robbed of the Super Bowl MVP.
I was gonna say I've had a lot of bad beats in my life, but Damian not getting the Super Bowl MVP for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then
was it 2 or 3? It was a lot of touchdowns.
It was 2. It should have been 3. Mahomes could have pitched it to him on his touchdown run, but then Mahomes. I mean, not that it was like it. Look, I love Patrick Mahomes, but Damian Williams should have won Super Bowl MVP. Kadarius Toney, by the way, could have won Super Bowl MVP last year. That's something that people really like to forget. Kadarius Toney was about 5 yards away from winning Super Bowl MVP last year.
How epic would that be? At 20, what is he? 24, 25, a 25-year-old Super Bowl MVP to literally not in the NFL.
To literally not in the NFL. Yeah. I do not have a wager placed on the spread. I have a Chiefs future that I bought after the Broncos win when they won on the blocked field goal. I bought it, not an expensive one, but just because I knew that it would get to this game and I would not want to bet them here, so I bought a Chiefs future. Then I only have the total in same game parlays. I was in Illinois last week, so I fired a couple like over on the total, higher Xavier Worthy rushing yards, say like a profit boost and stuff. Certainly, if I was betting it though, just like right now, I would definitely be on the over. Not because I'm a sick fish that likes to bet overs, but I actually think both teams' path to winning is going over. Because if you think about it, the Chiefs are probably not going to be able to defend their way out of this game. You just, there's only so much plugging of the holes you can do versus
Steve Spagnuolo shade on the podcast.
I'm not look, I would never shade Mr. Spagnuolo, but there's just I'm on the wrong camera. There's just only so much that you can do against AJ Brown, Smith, and Saquon Barkley. I mean, Barkley took a 70-yard touchdown, first offensive play of the game for the Eagles last week. It was just
It's unbelievable.
He's
so sick.
He's so good. And then from the Eagles' point of view, I think you feel the same thing. You're like, we don't want to go in here and try and go blow for blow against Mahomes and force Jalen Hurts to be perfect. Because if you play a really slow game, like, these 12 play drives, we took 6 minutes off the clock, and then one of those drives ends with a stalled red zone possession, and you go for it on 4th and 3 and don't get it, and then Mahomes just easily goes 97 yards on you. Like, kind of my game plan thought both ways would be the teams being like, we'd really like to get to 30. We would really like to get to 30, I think.
Didn't the Chiefs get to 30 for like the first time all season last week? Wasn't that a thing?
They did in overtime against the Buccaneers and one other game, I think. But yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. What is your guys' thought on that? On just basically the Chiefs coming to every season saying we have a 2-game season. Our season is the AFC Conference Championship game and the Super Bowl.
I mean, it speaks to greatness. They are. I know this is a broken record take, but they're reminding me more and more of the Patriots all the time. I mean, they really are. It's just like, we're going to win ugly, but we're going to win. And we're going to lose a couple of games that we shouldn't. But at the end of the day, like they are great, and they're great situationally. And so many of these teams are so even that really it comes down to a couple of plays when you're in the playoffs, and the Chiefs are so freaking good at making that one or two plays where the other team screws up, and that's why they win.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mahomes just doesn't screw up in high leverage spots. Like when he needs to make a play, he just does every single time. And I've never seen anything like it. It's like, if I was just looking at the stats, I would think, oh, this is just some luck. This is obviously just going to revert to the mean.
I've seen
getting away with it.
Well, I've seen some bad,
and it's like, wait, this isn't a regression thing. This is actually his greatness, is just in high leverage spots when there's high variance and high volatility, he always makes the right play.
And it's not just him either. It's Andy Reid, kind of always does the right thing.
Spagnuolo with that sick corner blitz on that last Josh Allen play that they'd literally set this up the entire game. I mean, I watched like 10 minutes of YouTube game film, how they were like lining up Nick Bolton on one side of the center all day and doing one thing. And then like in the critical 4th down, they did a different thing, brought the corner, free rusher, and game over. I mean, unbelievable. Like,
and
so smart.
I'm not even meaning to discredit the Eagles. I think the Eagles, I think Kellen Moore has done a great job. I am like way higher on Jalen Hurts than the average jabroni.
Yeah, I'm not high on Jalen Hurts. So.
See, and I think Sammy, these are just the truest brain dead takes. Like, all Jalen Hurts has ever done is win games, dude. This is all he's ever done.
What about the national championship game when they literally had to lift him for Tua because he couldn't hack it?
Sammy, are you really no.
But, like,
this
okay.
is a bad
I
take.
watch very
No,
little
I'm
college
gonna-
football, but I remember watching this.
Sammy, I'm gonna appeal to your boomer sensibilities right here. How
Come
many
through.
guys would that have happened to, and that would have completely wrecked them forever? They never would have came. Their confidence would have been shattered forever. They would have just faded away. He would have went to go start at Ball State the next year, and we never would have heard from him again.
The power of the inner will, Jalen Hurts.
Inner excellence,
Mental toughness.
Great. It's great.
Jalen Hurts does not need to read inner excellence because he is excellent
because he
in
wrote
his
it.
interior life. He wrote it. He wrote that shit. I all the analysis of this game, who wins it or loses, comes down to this. The Eagles are better. They have better players. They have a better offensive line. They have a better defense. They have a better running back. They have better wide receivers. Chiefs -1.5 lock of the century.
Well, well, first off, let's get some takes. Nate, have you bet on the actual outcome of the game?
I do have some on the Chiefs. Yes.
Okay.
I wish the over was, or I wish the total was higher because I would want to take an under, but it's already moved. I mean, it might go back up. I wouldn't be surprised if just Fish Money continues to bet into it and it gets back up, but we'll see. I think this game goes under. I do think Chiefs win. I just think this Mahomes stuff.
You do think it
real.
think it goes under.
Yeah, I do. But I think Mahomes.
I'll tell you.
Less mistake.
I'll tell you a really good reason why it might go under. These are two of the least turnover prone teams in like modern football history. Like not just the NFL right now. They just never turn the ball over. They don't throw picks. They don't fumble. And no turnovers is bad for an over because it just means drives extend.
Yeah, they're like the top two teams in drives of 10+ plays, something like that. Davis, I assume you would bet on the Chiefs. I can't see you betting against your one true hero, Patrick Mahomes.
Well, not only would I, not just because I'm a homer, but like I just think he's the best.
It's a good number.
I think he's the best winning quarterback since Brady. You know, I just don't know how you beat this guy.
Yep.
He just doesn't fuck up. Kelce's had 2 weeks to rest, which I do think is like that getting his old body rolling downhill. I mean, look,
we hibernated.
Well, he was so effective against the Texans because he had 3 weeks off before that game. And then, I mean, also the Bills did a lot to just say anyone but Kelce. Like you think he's just like a 5-year-old iPhone where he just like needs a long time to recharge. But a long time on the charger. Yes.
Well, we have cursed the Kansas City Chiefs. You all should bet Philadelphia because we were
all in the Chiefs the first time these two teams played.
I was not.
Okay, never mind.
I was not. And I still think back to this. I'm watching the game and it was different teams, different cast of characters, but it was kind of the same where Philly was clearly the more talented team.
Clearly, yeah.
With the better players. And it was like, okay, do I take the better team or do I take the better quarterback? And kind of halfway through the game, I already knew it was going to happen. I'm like, why did I take Philly? Because at the end of the day, we can parse all these individual matchups and all this shit. But what it comes down to is the Chiefs have the better quarterback and the better coaching. That's it. That's all you need. The better quarterback and the better coaching.
Better quarterback, better coaching is like 57% of the battle.
It's it. That's it. So I am betting on the Chiefs. I have bet on the Chiefs. I think I will continue to bet more on the Chiefs. And that's the angle I'm going from. I'm tired of losing money on Patrick Mahomes.
It's the thing. If you are a referee conspiracy person, this is your chance to win it all back. If you bet on the Texans, if you bet on the Bills, if you bet against the Chiefs in the regular season, this is your time.
Nobody bet on the Texans.
Super Bowl limits. I mean, I'm assuming you can just download your little appy app on your phone and get like $10,000 down on the spread here. I would assume.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing that much on the game, but I will tell you the results of this game in terms of props will have like a 5-year effect on my retirement plan. So I'm excited to get into it.
All right. Well, let's do it. Let's start searching for our favorite props. So if you are watching on YouTube, not listening to the podcast, this is the Unabated Super Bowl tab. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's free for this week. You can literally just go and click. You could search whatever, and you are going to get, all kinds of crazy boutique shit. All you can price shop. You can find the best price for defensive interceptions, for tackles and assists, which we're gonna
I
get
saw you
later.
scroll past some Oren Burks. Can we see what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just telling you, dude. You could get tackles, just whatever kind of menu you want. It is up here, and it is free for this week. So I would encourage you to use that, because there is a pretty wide spread in terms of like prices. Literally, I just happened to randomly stop here, but look at the price of these spreads for the anytime touchdowns. Like you're getting like 15, 20 cent discrepancies on anytime touchdown prices. So I would encourage you.
Go
take
advantage
advantage
line
of that.
shopping, everybody. Sign up with 8 different books before the Super Bowl.
I do not.
Everywhere.
I do not have any book promo codes to give you, but I can tell. I don't live in a legal sports betting state, but I'm gonna guess there are some promos out there that you could get if you are not signed up for any of them. So I would encourage you. We've come a long way from having to just go off stale Bovada lines to do to do these shows. Things have really improved around here. All right, let's start. Let's just go with everyone's favorite individual player prop. I have one that is I've included on like all of my underdog entries, and thrown in a bunch of same game parlays. But I'll let Nathaniel go first for his favorite play.
Well, this one is different than what I've done the last few years, but I actually I think there's value in Mahomes under rushing attempts. In the past, we used to see him be mispriced, especially towards the end of the season in the playoffs. But I think Underdog, it's at like 6.5 on Underdog.
It is. On, unless it's moved, it on Underdog it should be. Yeah, it is 6.5 juiced a smidgen to the higher, a 1.07x on.
I just don't see this hitting. I just don't see him hitting 7 rushing attempts here without some significant kneel down that you're pricing in. So, well,
the kneel downs are clearly priced in. Don't think there's any argument that they're not.
But I mean, with the spread, what it is, you should. I don't know. I just think 6.5 is. I think this is one of the more mispriced ones, and I think it's based on some historical Mahomes in the playoffs. I think
it's priced at 6.5 because he had his most designed runs ever in a game against the Bills.
Was
3.
it 2?
Three designed runs in a game is the most.
Yeah, and I agree with the kneel down stuff, and really you have to, it's easy to remember all the times Mahomes kneels down, but there are plenty of situations, even when the Chiefs win, that
where
Mahomes
there's no kneel down
is not going to kneel. Right.
Like the kneel down is like a parlay of the Chiefs win in such a way that it is non-precarious at the end. Like Chiefs win without a game-ending field goal. Chiefs win, like it's not straight up, and that they're in it's a two-way parlay that they win and that they're in a situation deal. Like the Eagles could have the ball. I don't know. Just if you're doing like napkin math, you're like, okay, let's just call it 50% chance the Chiefs win. Then 50% of the time the Eagles have the ball as time expires because they're trying. Then let's call it 10% of that remaining time the Chiefs are kicking a field goal as time expires. These are just guesses. This is just
and then another 10 they need to convert a third down. There's no kneeling down. They need to convert the third.
And then the game's over.
Some little cheesy fucking wide receiver motion and nobody covers them in the flat and Bing,
so
bang,
I think
bada.
your mental math should be like you give him like half a rush for a kneel down, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
like
that. A half to 1, maybe.
I mean, obviously, someone else out there, maybe someone listening to this has like done the actual math and knows the actual probability of a kneel. My guess would be.
I think I heard it was actually slightly over 1 on one of the pods I listened to.
Okay.
Even with that, though,
also like potential end of half kneel down.
End of half.
So
I would
you know,
set
that's
this line at closer to 5.5. And so even at 5.5, I think this would be a decent under. So 6.5 is an easy under for me.
So
I
Nate,
don't
it's
love
really
the 0.92, but
it's really funny you say that, because my favorite play each of the last 2 playoff weeks was the Mahomes rushing attempt over, and he hit it in the first half in each of the last 2 weeks. But I agree with you that at 6.5, I don't have higher on any of my entries. What I do have, this does not count as my
higher
favorite
passing
play.
attempts.
No, dude, higher longest rush, longest where that he gets like a
He's
Mahomes on these.
selective.
Well, these 3rd and 11s were like the defense is just, they've decided not to send the spy or whatever, and Mahomes does that dipshit little, he gets around the corner and he's just tiptoeing down the sideline. I think it's 13.5 on Underdog right now. I think I had it at 12.5. I would have to go back and look at my entries. I still like it at 13.5 though.
Yeah, you basically have to say, will the Chiefs face a 3rd and 13? Because if they do, Mahomes is running for 14. And no
Right.
more. And no more. Like, he gets out right at the sticks every time. He's great.
All right, Sammy. Don't waste your IDP one yet. What is your
Don't worry, buddy. I got 2.
By the way, if you do like 5.5, it looks like at some of these places you can get over 5.5 at like
money. Yeah.
Well, like reasonable, like Bet365 minus 115. Caesars has it at minus 115 both sides. So that's a little bit more reasonable, I think.
Yeah.
All right, Sammy.
I think that my favorite like individual prop is Samaje Perine receiving yard over. I have it was at 6.5. It's now at 7.5.
Yeah, this is certainly on my list. Not like a mega gold star play, but certainly on my list at 7.5.
Yeah, I'm definitely overexposed to this. I mean, you know, it's one thing because Perine, since Isaiah Pacheco came back from injury in week 13, he has yardage totals of 15, 16, 23, 50, 20, 13, 0 against the Texans, and then 13. So he's hit it in 6 out of 7 weeks since Pacheco came back. That being said, it's not like he's getting 3 catches a game here. Like a lot of those games were 1 reception. So I don't, to your point, I don't think it's like a mega lock.
This is the key right here. 100%, 90%, 100% of the long down and distance snaps. None for Pacheco. Kareem Hunt played 1 third down against the Buffalo Bills. Perine does all of it. It's not quite the full McKinnon role because he's just not as good as McKinnon was. It's the McKinnon role light. What would I mean, we can probably go find a way to look at this, but what would Jerick McKinnon's line have been? Let's see.
It would be in the double digits at least.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think
because McKinnon was getting straight up like third down work also.
Yeah. Here, we can look at the playoff usage for McKinnon last
I bet
year.
it would be I bet McKinnon's line would be like 12.5.
Last year in the Super Bowl. Remember, McKinnon was injured. I just remembered this. McKinnon was injured until the Super Bowl, came back, 13% targets per route run, 100% of the long down distance snaps, 29% of the 2-minute drill. They actually liked Pacheco a little bit more last year.
The other thing is I like the idea of targeting Oren Burks. Burks is the guy who stepped in for Nakobe Dean after Nakobe Dean got hurt, and they had the Eagles had this great thing going with Bond and Dean. They were like playing lights out, and Burks is shown, at least in his limited time, to be a really effective tackler, but he doesn't cover none too good is the story with him. So I like
that. Sammy,
space.
I really like that angle. That is, I would not have gotten to Oren Burks commentary on
P.S. Can you look up Oren Burks' tackle props? I see it 8.5 a lot of places, but I want to see if we can find any 7.5s because I would be excited about that.
All right, we've got. You want tackles and assists or just tackles?
Yeah, tackles and assists.
We've got 8.5 on DraftKings with plus 107 to the under. We've got 9.5 on BetMGM. We've got 9.5 on Fanatics. What is it on Underdog? Maybe Maybe we'll get
it's
It's
8.5
8.5.
on Underdog.
Um,
Trust me, I know.
do you like the slider though? Are you're trying to go under or over on this guy?
No, I'm trying to go a little under.
Okay, well you should go. There's a glitch in the pricing right now where you get 8.5 at lower 1.16x. You really like that?
No. I was kind of trying to go lower. Yeah, like 7.5.
That's what I'm saying.
7.5 and
Okay.
take higher. But there's not really a price I like. Like Burks has been a really, really good tackler so far. So
You're saying you want a better price on the over for Oren Burks.
Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah, but without a good price, I'm kind of ho-hum on it.
Okay.
One thing going back to Pirine, Sammy, is if you do fill up on the 7.5, you could also go longest reception of 6.5. I actually think those are similar bets here. For sure, probably going to get better pricing.
It's saying he converts a 3rd and 8.
Yeah, because I don't expect him to get two or three receptions like you're saying. So most of the equity really is in that longest reception anyway.
Yeah, you're right. Good call.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to surprise anyone with my favorite bet. I actually think this is like insanely good.
Is it the Worthy Rush?
Well, that is the fun one. Worthy Rush is the fun one, but just Worthy 57.5, 59.5, kind of depending on where you price it. I believe Underdog has it at 56.5 receiving yards. I mean, Xavier Worthy is just 55.5 now on Underdog. Xavier Worthy has just like fully inherited the Rashee Rice role where he is. And I guess the funny thing about it is he's doing it and he's also not sucking at it. There was like, I think a little bit of concern that he would just never get there. But since about week 14, he's just been good at it. He has 24% targets per route run. His ADOT has came way down. He actually is getting targeted way closer, and in fact, very similar to Rashee Rice's. He's getting targeted a ton on 3rd and 4th down, which is big. He's getting play action targets. It would not surprise me at all if he has the most receiving yards in this game. We can look at some of that fun stuff and see who has the best prices, but it feels like the best way to circumvent the two really crazy things about the Eagles, which is that they have these very good boundary corners and they have this great pass rush, is quick throws over the middle, quick throws in the screen game, hitches, pop passes, things like that. So I have Worthy over 55.5 receiving yards, as that's the one that I've got in most of my stuff.
Yeah, they decided that throwing it deep to him down the sideline where he just runs out of bounds instead of catching it.
He doesn't get it.
Working. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously, Worthy has become. We see it every year with rookie receivers. We saw it this year, especially with Brian Thomas, where he just took off in the second half of the year. And I think Worthy didn't quite get as much fanfare as some of the other guys who really took off.
Well, because everyone was so pissed off at him for being so bad.
Oh, I straight cut him in multiple leagues. I was like,
yeah,
screw this fucking guy, and then he just started scoring all the time. So
he fumbled.
He sank all my best ball teams. How could I ever forgive him?
Yeah, he had negative points in 1 week. Because he just got a rush attempt and he fumbled on it. But he's been fantastic, and I do wonder if a little bit of that like negative sentiment actually is carried over into some of the and a little bit of over enthusiasm for Hollywood Brown as well.
Oh, it for sure has boiled over. The sentiment, if he would have started off the season like he's ending it, I mean the sentiment would have been entirely different
in week 1.
Well, no, I'm saying like, I mean the rest of the rookie wide receivers establishing themselves and him doing what he did, obviously is playing into a huge factor of this market.
Yeah.
Sammy, check your mic. I think you are in your computer audio right now.
Sure.
So I do really like Worthy. Like, what we should talk about? We should talk about the I think this is the elephant in the room. This fucking rushing line on Saquon Barkley, dude. What? Because I know I had it pulled up earlier, and I can pull it up in the DFS Pick Em tool for this stuff, and I can pull up Cardi's numbers. Cardi's number one prop
Yeah, it's going to be lower.
Cardi's,
Yeah.
Cardi's number one prop is lower on Saquon Barkley's rushing yards. So let's just talk about it, because I would assume, I mean, is Barkley over rushing yards? Is that going to be the number one most bet prop of the Super? What will be the number one most bet prop?
I would guess it's a Barkley prop. And it's probably going to be over rushing yards.
I haven't taken one Barkley prop. I don't think I will, because I think the under is the better play, and yet
Of course,
I am driven by fear that Barkley will dunk in my face.
It's because you're like, I've had unders on like Barkley and Derrick Henry, and you're feeling great. You're like, dude, he's got 11 carries for 32 yards. This is free money. And then you look up and he just pops one up. Now, I will say, I did take the under on Barkley's rushing yards
in the Rams game.
No, in the NFC Conference Championship game.
Oh, yeah. So did I. And he broke off the first one.
Yeah, 70 yards.
Dude, it was 133 yards. He had 36 fantasy points, and he went under his rushing yards.
Yeah. I took that too. And I feel like, dude, I got away with it once. Like, I am not pressing my luck on this. No way.
when you beat death once, don't try it again. I genuinely, like, the Saquon stuff looks good in any projection model that you look at, but there is a reality of, like, projections are not fully accounting for the amount of potential volume he's going to see here. I mean, he legitimately could see 30 rushing attempts.
I was going to say, here's Saquon, a good one.
If the true edge with Saquon should be in the ladders, I would say that almost all of that stuff is going to be mispriced because people are not accurately accounting for his actual range of outcomes here. So, like, don't take any of these median numbers, because these are all going to be shaded, where the ladders, you probably get much better odds on some of this stuff, where the 150, 200, I mean,
well, I think I saw the 205, which would be the Super Bowl record, is like plus 2,000 to break the NFL Super Bowl rushing record. So
let's see if we can find a price on Gambly. It might not have it priced in yet. Well, let's just see what it is on Underdog. We can get Barkley, the ladder on Underdog to get Barkley to 159 is 2.4x. Let me tell you, I would much rather take Barkley higher 159 than higher whatever his median is. Like, and it's not even actually particularly close, because to Nate's point, it's hard to price. This is pricing football like it's baseball, like doing like home run odds or something. Like, either he's going to hit an 83-yard run or he's not. He's not going to get 47 rushing attempts at 5 yards a carry. It's at one point he breaks one or he doesn't. And then at that point, you're just wagering on where the Eagle's at on the field when he breaks it.
Well, yeah, Nate, but
his distributions for rushing attempts or rushing yards almost needs to be modeled like totally different. And almost all of these are going to be priced off of like typical running backs, where it's more like it's almost like a punt returner or like a kick returner type yardage distribution, where it's like, if he actually takes it, he gets 70 yards. And if he doesn't, where, I don't know, some of these other, when you look at other rushing yard distributions, it doesn't look anything like it. And so, yeah, I think the Barkley ladders are just going to be mispriced across the industry. I don't have the accurate pricing on my side either, but I know these are mispriced.
Do you have a take on rushing attempts? Because I think on Underdog it's 22.5.
I think that Gainwell and Shipley are not going to step on the field, and if Gainwell steps on and Gainwell is not practiced yet with a concussion. Oh. So what are you doing? Are you tossing in the 5th round rookie from Clemson to pass block? I think we could.
No, you're letting Saquon run the ball 30 times.
I think Barkley might not sub out. I think we could see Chase Brown usage.
That leads me. We're doing a lot of dicking around here, not giving the listeners a lot of white meat. But one of the props I really like is Eagles under 3.5 players with a rush attempt, and that's yeah, it is. So it is. So I actually like both of these. It is juiced, right? Eagles under 3.5 is minus 165. Maybe you can find it somewhere else for better, but that gives you have to just be under 4 players here. So Hurts and Barkley, obviously, but then you can still sustain a Gainwell or a Shipley rush.
You know what you can't sustain though.
What, a fake punt?
Dallas Goedert.
Stop this.
No, I'm being serious. They've done it in all their playoff games. They've either handed the ball off or used him in jet motion. In fact, they did a really cool play.
To me, this is more of a bet on Saquon or on Hurts's health than it is anything. If you think Hurts is fully healthy, then you take this bet. If you think Hurts
I just think Saquon doesn't come off the field.
But it's not about Saquon to me.
Davis.
It's Saquon cannot leave the field, and this still could not work. Like if you think that Hurts is going to have some rushing attempts, and if you think that they're not going to go Hurts in a tush push spot, and they're going to give it to Goddard or whatever to save Hurts' leg, then you're getting real close to this. So if you think Hurts is fully healthy, you take this bet.
I'm not worried about that at all. Not even a little bit. Just so you guys know, Will Shipley was the only other non-quarterback on the team besides Gainwell, Hurts, and Barkley to have more than 3 rush attempts all season. I think Devonta Smith had 1, AJ Brown had 0. Like they don't do this stuff. On the flip side,
Dallas Goedert had 2 rushes last week.
Stop.
Hurts hurt his knee 3 weeks ago, and they haven't been as comfortable with those.
Did you think I was making that up about Goddard? I'm being dead ass.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about it. 2 weeks to rest, baby.
Dallas Goedert. 2 rushes for 13 yards, 8 targets for Dallas Goedert.
Well, maybe I missed that. But you know what the other one I like is the Chiefs over 4.5 players.
Yeah, I think you could go. So this is the line that I found. Well, no, total players with a rush attempt on DraftKings is 7.5 to the higher. I mean, could the Chiefs have 7 players themselves? So you have Mahomes.
No.
Listen, Mahomes, P. Ryan, Hunt, Pacheco, Worthy. That's 5.
No, there's your 4. You're saying P. So it's their main carriers are Mahomes, Hunt, Pacheco, and Worthy. Worthy always gets 1. So now you have the 4, and you just need 1 more. You just need P. Ryan.
P. Ryan has 20 rushes on the year. So like his median should be like 0.75 rushes or whatever.
Sure. But you also have, Carson Steele for some nonsense. You have Hollywood Brown for some nonsense.
I was gonna say I would put Hollywood in. The other thing you have
Travis Kelce for some nonsense.
No. So they lined up for the Mark Andrews tush push last week and then called a timeout. But they lined up for it. Where and I actually believe it was Noah Gray,
Sick.
who was there. But point being, you're drawing pretty live for 5 or 6 Chiefs getting a rush attempt.
Yeah. So if you like that and you are genuinely worried about Dallas Goedert, admittedly, I actually didn't watch either of the championship games because my wife was out of town. So I was like stuck with the kids, not watching football. It was terrible. But if you like that, you can take the over 7.5, just total for the game.
That's an official play. I did bet this one when I was in Chicago. I mean, these are the other favorite one that I love to do is
more than 2.5.
So I normally like to take the over.
This is Davis's favorite player.
not this year, man.
I don't think
this
so.
year,
yeah.
man. I think the only way this hits this year is with a fake punt. I don't think either team's doing a Philly special. I don't think Travis Kelce is cocking it back. Although do you guys remember the first 49ers Super Bowl when they ran the play and Kelce had it and then he tucked it down? But they ran it. They did run it. But yeah, I don't have it in me to take man. Plus 180, plus 195. I don't know, man.
You will take this bet by Sunday.
I probably will. I probably will.
Just sprinkle it into the portfolio.
All right, Nate, give us one.
I'm pretty high on Devonta Smith. I think Devonta Smith is mispriced in a lot of this stuff, and I like both his longest and his total reception yards. On Underdog, I think is. What's his?
So it's 19 and a half and 50 and a half, I believe.
Yeah, I would take his over 19 and a half there for longest. I actually might. I don't know what Underdog doesn't have this. I saw it on BetUS, but he was like plus 600 or 700 to lead the game in receiving yards, and I took that.
No, Underdog will have that. Underdog will have game high receiving yards somewhere in here. Game high rushing plus receiving. There you go, 3.15x.
That's not nearly as good as I wouldn't.
Well, how about game high rush plus receiving yards? Because that's basically that's like an under on Barkley.
Yeah, it's
really
Saquon.
What that is.
I don't want to mess with that.
I kind of like it. I actually kind of like that. I might add a little taster there.
Yeah.
Like, can I show you guys? Can I show you guys a hack? By the way, if you're doing, I mean, this is not a hack. This is like everyone knows this. But if you do want to bet some of these, if you want to do some of these exotic markets on Underdog, you do 7.92x game high rushing plus receiving yards, and then you go to like your favorite prop or whatever, and you just nuke it. You just go like, so you don't want to take on the risk of like not hitting it, and you go all the way to the bottom. And you do, 44 and a half receiving yards. I can't do that because that's a worthy rushing yard or a receiving yard one. But you basically just take the easiest possible line with another one in one of your risky markets. That's sports gambling. Like, that's not even sports gambling 101. That's like sports gambling 001. But you'd be surprised how many people don't understand. Well, just like
if you tuned into the stream and you waited an hour for this alpha, here it is.
Yeah, I would say that's the opposite of alpha, but I'm amazed every day by things that people don't know on the internet.
Well, we are like 45 minutes in and given probably six props.
It's time for Sammy to get some. I need to get some down on Sammy's props. So let's. Sammy.
Okay. All right, Sammy.
Well, I'm saving the gold star IDP play for the very end. That's what we'll sign off with. But I almost considered making this one the gold star. So this will be the silver star. And it is cornerback Trent McDuffie under 4.5 total tackles. And so it is juiced, which is why I didn't deem it worthy of being the gold star. Because I want to give some love on that. But if you bet it single, it's somewhere around minus 140. Here on Underdog, you can see that it's a 0.87 multiplier. So you're taking a little bit of a dick with that one. But Trent McDuffie has only hit this in 4 out of 18 games this year. And he only makes a tackle on 3% of running back runs. 3%. Ooh. And so when you have a game where you are going to get, probably a heavy dose of rushing and not as many pass attempts from the other team, I see this Trent McDuffie one being one that I'm going under on. So, in my tickets where I'm doing one that's like slightly juiced the other way, I'm getting a little bit of a price. I've been adding a lot of Trent McDuffie unders on those to kind of even it out.
All right, I like it. I like a lot of lowers on the Kansas City secondary tackle stuff anyway, just because it could just be such a crazy low volume game. It could just be like an insanely low volume game.
Oh, you're gonna hate my.
I was gonna say how do I say this? If I'm taking over Saquon rushing attempts, I'm definitely not going to negatively correlate that with a bunch of unders on the Kansas City.
No. I guess I don't understand the dynamics of like who does the tackling because I never do these, but I wouldn't be thinking that like Drew Tranquil and McDuffie and Jalen Watson are going to be racking up the tackles on Barkley. But I don't. Not like I'm
Tranquil's a linebacker, but yeah,
whatever. Yeah, defensive players,
not
my expertise. All right, Sammy, let's keep it going. What do you got? Okay. What do you got for us next?
All right. Some others that I like. I have Travis Kelce to record 25 more receiving yards in both halves. So this is a straight up prop. This is not Underdog. 25 in both halves. That's plus 140.
I gotta say, I do like the Travis Kelce hires simply because I think they are way too juiced down, because the thing that we just saw was him not do anything against the Bills when we saw his literal best game in the season happen the week before. And we've all just completely like, oh, dude, Travis Kelce, man.
Yeah,
Travis Kelce, dude, he's dust.
Yeah, it went from playoff Kelce to dusty Kelce. So I tend to like the Kelce overs a little bit too. You know, there's a lot of talk about how good the Eagles defense is, and it certainly is. Some of it I talked about with the Oren Burks coming in, but I think at the end of the day, what you were saying earlier really applies, is that, you know, the Eagles are so good at defending the perimeter with their corners, with their defensive backs, that I think Kansas City is really going to go out of their way to try to attack the middle of the field. And so I really think that getting overs in that regard, I don't think they're going to be throwing it deep down the sidelines, man. So I think they're going to, and that goes with the way that Kansas City wants to attack regardless. So I do like Kelce overs in this game. Another one in each quarter one that I like. This one seems like just too easy. I'm definitely missing something, but Patrick Mahomes to have 25 passing yards in every quarter is minus 130.
I was gonna say, yeah. What's the price on that? That does feel too easy.
I've never priced out quarter passing yards, but that seems insane.
That seems insane. I mean, you know, certainly if they have a lead in the fourth quarter, they're going to be, you know, running and, you know, this and that, but like 25 yards, it's an average of 100 for the game, man, you know.
I'm sure there is something with like possessions or.
Well, yeah, if they only get one possession in a quarter, right? They get like a short 3 and out or something like this, and the Eagles just hold the ball most of the quarter. That's where he's going to get tripped up. But I mean, I feel like those odds are not long enough for me to not want to take that. That's minus 130 at can I say sportsbook names?
Of course.
Yeah, on DK Sportsbook.
Yeah, Unabated pulled up.
Yeah. All right. You got anything else that you're before we get to I've got a couple to run through.
The only other one I like that I've thrown in a bunch is I have Hurts over interception.
Oh,
Love
interceptions thrown. Yeah, that I gotta say, plus 135, plus 130, plus 125. That does.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts, the choke artist against Steve Spagnuolo, the GOAT. Like, yeah, I love this.
Yeah. If they get down, he has to force it. I like that.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I assume Jalen Hurts, like, let's just guess. I'm going to guess Jalen Hurts has thrown 9 interceptions all season. That might even be high. Jalen Hurts threw 5 interceptions in the regular season, no interceptions in the postseason. So I guess that probably is why it is posted, why it is priced that way. But
you don't play the Chiefs D every week, so
no, you do not. All right, some of the other ones that I think are pretty strong. Isaiah Pacheco unders. Isaiah Pacheco not to score. Isaiah Pacheco lower than 22.5 rushing yards. Isaiah Pacheco under. I think you can go something that I think is not impossible. I don't think it's most likely. Something that I think is not impossible is he just does not play. He is active, but just doesn't.
Well, that would be the worst thing for you. You need him to play at least an offensive snap.
I guess by not play, I mean he plays like Carson. He gets like 2 rushes for 7 yards, and that's it. He was juiceless.
So if you think that, then his best bet would be under rushing attempts.
Yes. Yeah.
For sure. Okay.
Also, I like the under on targets. Minus 1.5. He had 0 in the first half last week, and then got one on like the first drive, and then right at the very end, he got a second one when they did like the fake handoff and then rolled it out to him. But I feel like he's just like kind of persona non grata in that backfield. So I like the Pacheco unders.
he's just not healthy. He broke his leg 4 months ago. You know, he's juiceless, bro. What do you want him to do? It is what it is. So I think Pacheco lowers, and then the corresponding thing would obviously be Kareem Hunt higher rushing attempts. I don't think you got to do Kareem Hunt rushing yards. It's getting
I'm taking Kareem Hunt under rushing yards and like under total yards. I think Kareem Hunt is fat and not very good, and I feel like I would way rather take his unders on like an efficiency basis and volume.
Yeah,
basis.
Sam Davis. I think the best correlation I would do with Pacheco unders would be Mahomes over passing attempts.
All right, let's cook it. Under rushing attempts for Pacheco.
Under rushing attempts Pacheco, over Mahomes passing attempts, and over Pirine passing yards or reception yards.
All right, we gotta throw in an eagle here. Give me an Devonta. We'll do Devonta Smith longest reception.
No. Oh, I was gonna say just do the Barkley over 22.5.
Yeah. I do Barkley because what you want is for the Eagles to score.
Yes. Yeah. All right, there we go. I still have the McDuffie one in here. All right, there we go. We got a quick little cook. Oh my God, this always happens to me. I gotta refresh the
love living in the Midwest, man.
Yeah. Nathan, that's it for you. You're topped out. You're too much of an edge grinder these days. You only have like 4 plays for us.
Yeah, I mean, most of this stuff dries up by. I mean, it's amazing how much is posted and then moves. Most of these don't actually look like they have that much edge to me.
Oh my God, dude, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup for the IDP stuff, by the way.
It's just a tough matchup.
Here.
It's a tough matchup for everything because the Eagles have 5 guys that they use on offense ever. And one of them is their quarterback, by the way. There we go. Pacheco, lower rushing attempts. Mahomes, higher passing attempts. Pirine, higher receiving yards. Barkley, higher rushing attempts.
Oh, 6.7x. They got you on the correlation.
Underdog did not fall out of the bed yesterday.
Yeah.
So we can cook up a couple that are let's cook up one that is crazy. Let's cook up 100x. Then we can give the Sammy Reid IDP gold star, and then we can get out of here. What are we gonna? Let's do Barkley, right? Let's do Barkley to like a crazy number.
Yeah, ladder his ass.
All right, we'll do Barkley to 159, 179.
Yeah, be a man. 179.
170.
All right, 179.5. We will do Mahomes to 300 passing yards. I feel like those have to be pretty highly correlated, right?
Yeah,
If Barkley is smashing.
For sure.
All right, we'll do to get 299.5 gets you to almost 2x, 1.99x. That's already a 25.69x multiplier. Sammy, you got a big one for us?
Let's see. I mean, so if Barkley does the smash, then I like the Pirine in here.
Okay. We'll do Pirine, and we will do Pirine to 9.5 receiving yards. That's a little bit of extra sauce. Mahomes is throwing all these passes. We will do Worthy to 100 receiving yards.
Oh my God!
And that is it might not even let it might not even let me place this. Sometimes
you can flex this for 100x.
Sure. We'll flex.
Wait, what did we do, Mahomes?
300 passing yards.
300.
All right, there we go. So we have got the super duper slider, the ladders. Dang. We climbed the Saquon Barkley ladder up to 179.75 rushing yards. Patrick Mahomes to 300 passing yards. Samaje Pirine to 9.5 receiving yards. Xavier Worthy to 99.5 receiving yards.
We should have laddered Kelce, TBH, but
you never know. You never know.
Never know.
I do like Worthy. It feels like a Worthy spot to me. All right, let's hear it, Sammy.
Okay. First off, I'm going to give one more prop that I have neglected to throw out that you can find just on an individual basis. DK Sportsbook, number of 3 and outs in the game under 3.5 total, -125.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't think there will be 4 3 and outs in this game.
Both teams would be pretty bummed if there was. All right, we need it, brother. We need Sammy Reid's gold star IDP.
It's time, and I feel good about giving this out because today I tried to put it in just one more underdog ticket, and it said you have maxed out on this individual player prop. You cannot use him anymore. So now I feel good about giving it to you. This man is on the Kansas City Chiefs. He has a prop of 4.5 total tackles plus assists. He has done this in 10 of 17 games, but in week 9, he started playing a lot more. Before week 9, he played 58% of the snaps, but since week 9, he's played 75% of the snaps. And since then, he's done it 6 times in 8 games. This man, per Pro Football Focus, let me bring this up, led all defensive backs, everyone in the NFL, in stop percentage against the run this season, which measures the percentage of a player's run defense snaps and tackles that constituted failure for the offense. I got that from 4+4. This man, his name is Chamarri Connor, the nickelback for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Chamarri Connor.
Now, here's an interesting thing. On Underdog, his higher is juiced. You get at 1.1 that you can see here. But if you try to take this individual prop, the over is actually juiced. Like on DK, it's -124.
Yeah.
So I think just by nature, if you didn't know anything else, just by nature, I think you're getting value from Underdog on this one, putting it in the parlays. Because it really shouldn't be, it should be juiced the other way. Right?
Yeah.
So this is from our favorite mustached man that's not Davis Mattek, from Warren Sharp, is that the Eagles are using 11 personnel on 81% of snaps this postseason. And so obviously the worry is with Connor is they don't play him a lot, right? He's a nickel back. So if they're playing a lot of 2 tight end stuff, they may take him off the field and use their third linebacker, Leo Chanel. But the Eagles are running super effectively out of 11 personnel, 6.9 yards per carry. And the Chiefs are way better versus 2 tight end sets against the run, 7th in EPA. But when they're facing 11 personnel, they are 17th in rush EPA. So I really think the Eagles will come out and use that 11 personnel a lot in this game. And that would put Connor on the field quite a bit, 75% of the snaps roughly. And I think that he smashes this over. By the way, 4 for 4. I think this is from Connor Allen. He does a great job with this stuff.
He does. Connor is great. He is great.
Yeah. He's super sharp. What he projected, the 4 for 4 projection on Connor is 5.86 total tackles. And you're getting it at 4.5. That is the Sammy Reid Gold Star IDP play of the Super Bowl. Let's fucking go.
All right, Sammy, how do we correlate this then? So 11 personnel. So are we correlating with some Jahan Dotson over 0.5 receptions?
Goddard.
So I think it's Barkley rush attempts because where Connor really, because we're
11
Connor
personnel you would assume that that Dotson would be getting more snaps than he has been getting if they're going to not run any.
Sure. That doesn't necessarily mean they throw to him, but where Connor really excels is as a run fit player off the corner, right? From the interior. And so I think if Barkley gets a lot of rush attempts, like I said, he led all defensive backs in stop percentage against the run. If he's the guy that's getting a lot of tackles, I think it means that Barkley's getting the ball a lot. I think that's where he gets most of his tackles, not necessarily on Dotson catches, but I could see Goddard catches being a thing.
I like correlating it with Goddard receptions or with the rushing attempts. All right, there we go. They're your gold star, your undefeated lock. Chamarri Connor, nickel corner for the Kansas City Chiefs, higher than 4.5 tackles. Boys, we are going to get out of here. That is a thorough and comprehensive view of Super Bowl 59, Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles in the Dome. Hope you guys have a great day wagering. I hope that Xavier Worthy gets 100 yards and that Chamarri Connor gets 4.5 tackles plus assists. And we'll be back with you guys very soon. It's Short King summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything.
Oh, boys.
Does
it was
he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King